right, let's bring on Kiké Hernánadez right now. Kiké, should I introduce you? How you doing, dude? Should I introduce you as a broadcaster now as well? How did that go the other day?
Sure. You can, add one more position to the list. Why not?
What was it like? Take me through the experience, because you were on for hours.
Yeah, it went really well. It wasn't really broadcasting. I took vocal cord classes and all that shit for it, but it turned out we were just talking about the game. It was like a Manning cast. But it went really well, man. First day, it was like kind of didn't know what to expect, and it was all about Hispanic Heritage Month, and so they wanted us to like tell our stories about how we came up and things like that, and our upbringings, and I kind of waited a lot for them to ask me questions, and I was just locked into the game the whole time. And day two, I was like, hey guys, like I would feel a lot better if I get to like just talk about everything I see in the game, and instead of like telling stories about myself, because you guys don't want me to wait till they ask me a question, but I'm not the type of guy that's going to be like, hey, I got a story about myself. So they gave me the green light, and it was great, man. We got to talk about baseball, and Alana's a great host. She did great. Yonder's got the MLB Network. He's like becoming the face of MLB Network now, Spanish and English, and it was fun to get to be there with Nestor, Albert, and Pedro, but especially Nestor, because I haven't hit him that well in the past, and it was nice to pick up his brain and think about how he likes to attack hitters. And I wrote a couple of notes here and there, so we'll see.
Exactly. Good. Okay, we're circling that matchup already for next year. I think it's in the middle of the season, June or July, because I already got ticket asks for.
Well, I don't have a team.
Dodgers.
I don't have a team, so I don't know when.
That's
I'm
true.
Yeah, I was going to say what
no,
you just know you're psychic and you can just pick what team he's going to be
Scott
on.
knows where he's going to sign with.
Yeah, Scott already knows. Scott.
Well, okay. Well,
he was on
is he going to go to Abu Dhabi with me?
Yes.
Oh, now we're talking.
You're going on the Wolves. You were the third pick.
If they offer me Ronaldo's contract, I'm for sure going.
I'll take they signed another one. I don't need Ronaldo's. I need the other one they signed.
Who?
They signed not Neymar. They signed Neymar. No, I thought they signed another big
Mbappe. Mbappe went there, didn't he?
No,
did he go there too?
No, he's in Paris. I mean, Messi got a hell of a deal in Miami.
Well, yeah, Messi owns the league now.
Yeah,
pretty much. Apple. Yeah. Apple too.
Okay, so well, let's start there though. I mean, obviously, I basically know the answer. Like, if the Dodgers call and the money's right, like, would you want to go back there, or what's the deal? Like, how was the finish line there when you went back there? Because obviously, you were excited when you first went. You got to join a playoff team, which was cool. Obviously, the result wasn't good. We can get into that, but is there interest there in just keeping that relationship going if they give you the dough?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm definitely more open than I was in 20. In 20, it was a for sure no, because I was looking for an opportunity to play every day somewhere else, and the roster was a little different. I think the roster was a little deeper back then, so it was harder for me to like get consistent at bats. But I went there this year not thinking I was going to play as much as I did, and it's going to be all about just like the last time, all about fit. The right place. These are not things that are that easy to take into consideration, especially now with a kid. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not opposed to going back, but I'm also not closing doors on 29 other teams.
Mm-hmm. What's that like? Because you've been through it. How do you handle a free agent process? Are you like pretty hands off? Do you have a lot of meetings?
I mean, I at least I got to experience it already once. Day one of free agency, like half the league called, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be great! I'm going to get $300 million." And then down to the wire, there was only like 4 teams that actually like had legit interest. And at the end of the day, only the Red Sox, one more team like made an offer, but it wasn't like an official offer. So at the end of the day, just the Red Sox offered me a contract. So I mean, at least I know what to expect. I'm not going to be bugging my agent every single day. Hey, any new news? So just take it day by day and expect shit to pick up like late December, early January.
Is it stressful, or is it now that you have now that the kids are older, you're like, just going to do all my stuff that I'm doing and just kind of see what the agent says?
Well, when I was a free agent last time, my wife was super pregnant. So it was a lot of stress, not knowing where we're going to be, not knowing when the baby was going to show up. This time through, I think it's going to be a little easier just because, like I said, I know what to expect, and I already have the kid, so she's going to keep me more than busy. She's about to turn 3, and she's like Kiké with a 2-year-old energy. So like my energy runs out at some point, her energy never does. So our hands are full, big time.
Kiké, explain to people that watch this that don't understand free agency. You kind of mentioned it a little bit. It sucks. Like I mean, unless you're, Bryce Harper and you have every team calling you offering you $300 million, right?
Ohtani,
right?
Or Ohtani. But for a very good major league players that are established guys that have done a lot of things in this game, it sucks because people come up to you. Your friends are like, "Oh, why don't you go to the Yankees? They need a utility guy," and you're like, "Sure, I'd love to go there." Or why don't you go back to the Dodgers? And you're like, well, they have to call me too, right? And then people are like, oh, you should get 2 years, $500 million. And I say, yeah, I think I'm worth that. But guess what? The 1-2 teams that called me are offering me 2 years, $10 million. So guess what? I'm going to have to take one of those offers because if I hold out for the 2 years, $500 million, it's never coming. It just is a lot of things. And like you said, the first day your agent gets these calls from 10 teams, and they're like, okay, blah, 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 here are the 10. You're like, okay, great. And then this is like in November, and then you get to like mid-December, and you're almost to Christmas, and your wife goes, hey, are you going to sign? Are you playing this year? And you're like, oh, yeah? Where? I don't know. And then it gets into January, and then people are like, then all your friends and family, your mom calls you and is like, hey, Kiké, where are you going to sign? Are you going to go here? And you're like, are you going to play? Are you going to be home all year? Mom, yeah, I'm going to sign. Where? I don't know. Shut up.
That was good play-by-play.
It sucks. Like, I think everyone that's been through it just sucks. It's not all like recruiting pitches and go here. There's a lot more that goes into it. It's not a fun
steak dinners.
It's not a fun process.
No. Especially the hard part that like people don't understand is that like sometimes the big dogs control the market, and all of us middle tier guys have to like wait for the big dogs to sign somewhere so the market can take off. Like this year, I'm sure Shohei is going to control a lot of what happens in the market. My free agency in 20, every team that was interested in me was also interested in Ha-Seong Kim, and that was a different process because they had to go. I think they had to bid, and it was all like secret, and nobody knew till the day that till the last day who won the bid. And obviously the Padres won that bid, and they were one of the teams that were in on me. And sure enough, like all the other teams that like missed out on him started calling, and I already had crossed some of those teams off because of the fit. I didn't see the fit or whatever, and that's the main problem is like we don't have like a deadline or when we sign, like kind of like the NBA. The NBA free agency is super exciting because of that, but I mean GMs and president of baseball ops just sit back and like wait for the big guys to sign somewhere so that they can like actually disperse and go fill their teams up. And I think it's very easy for them to sit back and hope that the market, the players get desperate and their ask price goes down. And you just got to trust your gut and stay stubborn that, it doesn't matter how long it takes. It's eventually it's going to get there. And that's kind of how the process went. Last time was pretty special for me because I had my kid, and then later on the same week I signed with the Red Sox. So that was a pretty cool, probably the best week of my life. And like I said, kind of know what to expect. And the one thing I know for a fact is I have no clue where I'm going to play next year.
Is there somebody that you've played with that you're like, man, I want to play with them again? Or is there somebody you haven't played with that you're like, be kind of cool to play with that guy?
I mean, it'd be kind of sick to see the Shohei show,
So wait till he
162.
signs.
Yeah, but he's not going to be fully Shohei this year because he can't pitch.
He'll still be okay.
That's a good question. And there's some guys in the league for sure, but I can't really. You caught me in the spot. I can't really think of the one that I'm like dying to play with, but yeah, I mean, I play with some cool guys.
You could package deal it too, right? He could maybe get in touch with Ohtani's camp and be like, listen, we should do this thing together. Like, who's the two? Oh, Giolito and Ronaldo Lopez. They're always in the deals together.
yeah.
Like we should have that, like a stepbrothers thing going.
Me and Locane.
We have a little bit of language barrier, but we'll work on it.
True.
Oh.
Very true.
You can learn Japanese quickly, I'm sure.
Easy. I just had sushi, so it's easy.
Plus, you said you have a vocal coach, right?
Yeah, but that's only for broadcasting, not for translation.
Got it. Okay.
Cuando yo empiezo a hablar así, Kiké Hernánadez para SPN Deportes.
You sound like the guy on
voice of
Univision.
Pretty much.
That's hilarious.
That's where I got it from.
Is Lorenzo considered a Spanish name? Lorenzo?
Claro. Lorenzo.
Lorenzo.
All right, so let's get into a little bit of Dodger talk. Like, how would you describe what happened those last few months for you? Just, it was crazy, right? You get traded there. It's probably pretty unexpected that you end up there, get to reunite with your friends, and they're a good team. And then they actually run into the team that makes it to the World Series. So obviously there were some pitching issues, but also it was a better team than most of us anticipated.
No, without a doubt. Like you said, I was expecting to get traded. I wasn't expecting to go back to LA. And kind of quickly, I kind of hit it off with the hitting coaches because they've known me for years, and we got back to some of the things I used to do, and kind of instantly felt like a good player again, and just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the process a lot. Like I said before, I wasn't expecting to play as much as I did, but little thing happened here. Guy got tight during BP. Somebody couldn't sleep the night before because their house got broken into, and I kept finding myself in the lineup, and I kept doing well. And I mean, we were winning, and I had spent the last 2 years in the bottom of a division, and it wasn't as fun. It doesn't matter how good you are when you're not winning. It's just not fun, period. And the guys in LA, that group was very different from the one I played with in 20 my last year, but they knew how to have fun, and of course we played great baseball, especially in August. August was sick. September was up and down, and nobody expected us to go out the way we did, especially getting swept. But all credit to Diamondbacks, man. I'm not surprised anymore. I think I keep telling people, like, when are you going to be surprised? Whenever they win the World Series. Like, they have a great team. They came from behind twice on the road against the Brewers. They were down 3 in both games. They did what they did. They came back. Then they come to us. They did what they did to Kersh in the first, and then they added on in the second, and then it just never stopped. Then we get a random day off after game 1, and it's kind of like tough to regroup because it's just weird energy, especially after what just happened game 1, and then we get a day off, and we just got to sit and wait. And then game 2, they got to Bobby early, and we were unable to come back. It just felt like a gut punch that we couldn't recover from. And game 3, I thought for sure we were going to come back in game 3 and send a statement and come back in the series. And they had one good inning. And it was enough for them. Their pitching has been really good. I mean, their lineup has been really good as well, but I think their pitching is what's kept them. What's gotten them to where they are right now, especially the way Nick Castellanos was beyond hot, first couple of games, and then he goes hitless the last 4. The way that they neutralized Schwarber, Trey, and Bryce in the last 3 games or so, it was unbelievable. And they kept them in every game for them to either come from behind or just score enough to where they could win a game. And it's been a hell of a run. And they're going into Texas with a team that's as hot as they are, so it should be a really fun World Series.
What are you feeling as you watch these games? You just I mean, you went through everything. You're watching these games. I think that's awesome to hear your version of it. I know for me, when we lost in the playoffs in early rounds, I would watch the teams and I'd be like we could have beaten those guys. Like, you look at it now and you say, hey, we could have beaten the Phillies. We would have been in that spot right now. Do you have that feeling? Do you have kind of an anger feeling, kind of a disappointment feeling? What is it?
It's not an anger feeling because, I mean, it's been, I don't know, we lost in the previous round, but it feels like it's been 2 weeks already. It's more of a bummed feeling, disappointed, dang it, man. Really? Why are we not there? Every year I lost in LA, from 15 to 20, we would end up losing against the team that would win the World Series or end up in the World Series. Then I go to Boston. We go up 2-1 in the ALCS, and then Houston comes from behind and steamrolls us the last 3 games. And we're like, man, we were better than them, and we could have beat the Braves. The Braves won it all. And then this year, of course, we were supposed to beat the Diamondbacks, and we didn't. And then the Diamondbacks are supposed to lose against the Phillies, and they don't. And it's just like, yeah, that should have been us. But it is what it is, man. You learn, and it's like almost like you learn how to lose in a way.
All right, can you just point to one thing that went wrong, or was it a team effort, or you guys just didn't get it done? It's kind of a 2-part question, but and also in free agency, have you and your agent been doing like comps? Do you comp yourself to other players as far as how much money you get or whatnot?
Okay, so first question, like obviously everybody talks about the pitching. Like we lost because of the pitching. We didn't have pitching or whatnot. Bro, we scored 6 runs in 3 games. We scored 2 runs in every game, and you can't win in the playoffs like that. You have to, obviously the team that scores the most wins the game, but to score 2 runs every game and pretend like you should win that series, it's you're fooling yourself. And it basically came down to empty at bats and not coming through with runners in scoring position. And here we are now. And then as far as free agency, we did that a little bit the first time through, but like it's just I don't mean this in any weird way, or like I mean this in the most humble way possible. Like I'm kind of like a unique player in the sense that like I can play everywhere, and there hasn't been that many guys that, of course, like it'd be stupid for me to compare myself after the year I just had to Ben Zobrist. Like there's no way I'm getting that deal. So I'm kind of like a unique situation right now where there's not that much to come from. So
I like it.
Kiké, I have a playoff question for you. How much do hitter game plans factor into success, against a pitcher in the playoffs, even versus regular season? So the example I think of is the Rangers get to Christian Javier second time around, and you try and figure out, like, was Javier off, or did they have a better plan? Because he's the kind of pitcher where they say, invisible on the fastball, kind of swinging at it higher than you actually think you're going to go for it. And how there is an approach to try and get a guy like that versus maybe someone who has 6 pitches and you're out there and it's tougher to game plan against. Like, do you believe in that? And what's that process been like for you? Because you've been in the playoffs basically your whole career. So how does that work?
I'm a big believer in it. I think especially in the playoffs, a lot of pitchers and catchers and game plans fall into a pattern. Especially when, like, I think a lot of times, depending on the guy that you are, they're gonna attack you to your weaknesses. They're not gonna throw you to your strengths. Like they're gonna go right at you with their best or what you don't hit. And I think, like, in a short series, that can like blindside the opposition if you have a great plan. And then in a longer series, it's hard to do it because you're playing possibly 7 games, and like by game 4, they're like game 3 or 4, they're like, wait, this guy is like, he's just looking for this at the plate. He's just, this is his approach, and he's staying stubborn to it. And then they can like readjust to you, and that's when you have to readjust to them. But yeah, I think, Javier, like, it's easy to say, oh yeah, he's an easy guy to face because he's got 2 pitches or he's got 3 pitches, but like it's such a special fastball that like you have to like be 2 or 3 balls above the fastball. He has incredible command of it, and I think that the fact that they saw him once was a difference maker. I don't know how he felt, but I think Seager getting to that heater in the top of the first and putting that ball 450 feet away, kind of like, is like a damn. How did he get to that? And then you kind of think about that at bat, and you're like four hitters later, and nobody's gotten out since that at bat, and that's kind of how it looked. I don't think they squared up every single baseball against them, but I definitely think in a long series, the more you see guys, especially the bullpen arms, it doesn't get easier, but it gets more comfortable, and you get more familiar with it.
Does he have the best fastball under 95 miles an hour?
Under 95? Yeah, possible. Yeah, for sure.
Like,
I mean,
ridiculous life.
yeah, it's kind of like a hater fastball, but like without the upper 90s velo. It's just going straight up out of the hand. A guy like Jordan Romano is a guy that has an unbelievable fastball, and then he throws more sliders than fastball, and you can't get off the fastball because that fastball, as soon as it goes, it gets in an elevator on a private jet and it just rises. But yeah, Javier is just special, especially because his breaking ball is so slow compared to his heater. So you're like gearing up for the fastball, you want to be on top of it, and then you see the breaking ball pop, you see it so well, but like you're thinking so above and out front that like the breaking ball never gets to you.
That's awesome. All right, I got to ask. You got an A, B, or C here. Clayton Kershaw plays for the Dodgers next year, the Rangers, or he plays man-to-man defense with his kids at home.
I'm gonna say he plays for the Dodgers.
Dodgers, A. Okay.
Yeah.
You're not the first person we asked. We asked Max too.
What do you say?
He couldn't answer.
No, he did. He kind of did.
He kind of did. He didn't. I mean, Kiké, you're not speaking for him. You're just speaking.
Yeah, you're just
I'm
making a
not.
guess.
I'm not.
No.
I'm not. But I know the guy, and I know he loves the game as much as everybody. So I know it's going to be hard for him to walk away. That's just my guess. But I mean, anything can happen in this world.
Max paused for a while. That was the thing when we talked to him, right? That stood out because, it's hard for us to know exactly how his body is feeling. So, and same for Max, basically, right? Like, I don't know how Clayton's going to react in 3 months because he also doesn't necessarily have to decide in the next few weeks. He can decide in a few months, and I'm sure there'll be an open invitation. I think the Dodgers just have like a photocopy of a 1-year deal in a certain money range, and they go, dude, it's just right here on the desk. If you want it, if you feel good enough for it, we'll fax it over. Old school.
Oh yeah, they probably put it in his bag when he packed his locker and went home. They probably put that contract inside his bag on top of it.
Exactly.
Hey,
yeah, sign it if you want.
Hey, this is something different. Just made me think of packing your bag. So you don't know if you're going back to the Dodgers. You didn't know where you were going after you went to free agency. You clear all your stuff out of your locker on your own? You go all to the bat room and you get all your bats? Or do you say, hey, here's an extra 200 and ship them to my house?
No, I went after I came back from Atlanta from doing game 1 and 2 of the NLCS. I got to the airport and I went straight to Dodger Stadium. Packed my bags, tipped everybody, and said goodbye to everybody. Like, may or may not be the last time I see you in a while, and grabbed all my bats, grabbed all my stuff, and I took half of it, whatever fit in my car, and then the other half I was like, hey guys, you mind shipping this home?
Dude, always ship. Always ship. Because if you tip them good enough, they always ship. Certain organizations always ship. Certain organizations.
Yeah, but if my stuff fits in my car, then not as much comes out of my playoff share, which is not going to be very, very high this year.
You don't think they offered you? They voted you a full share, surely.
No, it's a full share, but we only made it 1 round.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. All right, so we asked Clayton Kershaw a question here. Next year, Kiké Hernánadez wants to play where?
Baseball.
No,
he's not going to tell.
Okay, no, listen, because here's the thing though. When you grew up as a kid, what was your favorite team?
The Yankees.
Kiké Hernánadez.
I grew up pretty.
The Yankees.
I grew up pretty close. I watched them closely because Jorge's dad is my godfather. Posada's dad is my godfather. So I mean, I'm a 90s kid. Let's be honest, they were the best team in the 90s, especially towards the end of the 90s when I was like old enough to like know what was going on. And, growing up close to Jorge, like him and my dad grew up together. That's where those ties came from. But there's a lot of players that I loved, and Ken Griffey Jr. was without a doubt my favorite player, but we didn't get many games in Puerto Rico. We didn't get to watch the Seattle Mariners that often. But that does not mean I'm going to play for the Yankees next year. Exactly. I think to answer that question, I know the draft just went by, but Abu Dhabi is really attractive.
Yeah, if you get
Play there for
Neymar,
sure.
Ronaldo money for hundreds of millions of dollars per year.
Exactly.
No doubt. I don't need a full pension. I don't need to get my 10 years next year. If they give me that deal in Abu Dhabi, I'll go there.
They'll give you that pension for a week of play, basically.
Yeah, but it had to be a little awkward if you were such a Yankees fan when you put that Red Sox jersey on first time. You had to
Awkward
look.
or
You
cool?
kind of had to look down and go like, I don't know about this one.
Stop.
I mean, I don't know if it happened to you. Like once I
Oh,
got
it happened
drafted
to me
and
on
signed,
certain teams.
but for me, like once I signed professional base, like I got drafted, I like stopped being a fan.
Yep.
And like I was rooting for the team. I was rooting for the Astros, even though we were one of the worst teams in baseball when I was coming up through the minors. But like I was rooting for the Astros, and then you get to the big leagues, and you don't think about, oh, those guys. That team was my favorite team. No, it's kind of like fuck that team. We're gonna beat you.
Yep.
When it gets weird though is like when I came up with the Twins, and then I signed with the White Sox, and then you go there, and you're like, wait, I hate you, but now I play for you.
And now you love them.
Yeah, so that's when it got weird. It wasn't like, I mean, I grew up a Braves fan, so then when I got at the end of my career, I got to play for the Braves, and I was like, this is great. It's 10 minutes from my house, spring training. Atlanta's a 45-minute flight from Orlando. Like, this is great. So I never had that. But when I grew up a Twin, and then I become a White Sox, and you go like to the White, you're like, you look down and you're like, this is odd.
He's the ultimate example. You
Honestly,
were
my-
Astros
the-
and then Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the weirdest thing for me when I signed with the Red Sox was I played with blue shoes for 6 years, and then all of a sudden I'm playing with the red shoes. I'm like, something's off. But that was the weirdest thing. But I don't know. Maybe I think once you get traded, I got traded twice before signing as a free agent. So it's just like whatever. Like at this point, I'm gonna try and play for all 30 teams.
Do it.
That'd be sick. Every position, every team.
Kratz would be so jealous.
Yeah, that's true. He'll take over your Kratz hats, Kratz.
That's fair. He's got to keep all his hats. He's a guy that would keep all his hats because he packs his own car up. Guys that
That's
don't
right.
pack their own car up, they don't keep their hats.
I've only kept the hats that have postseason logos, which has been most of the hats.
Sorry about it.
Hashtag humble brag.
No, all brag, no humble. Appreciate it.
So let's finish with this, Kiké. What are you doing for Halloween?
What am I doing, or what am I gonna be?
Both, I guess.
So my daughter's really into Bluey. I don't know if you know. It's a little two dogs, two sisters. They're both dogs, and obviously mom and dad. They don't have names. They're just mom and dad. They're also dogs, and we were trying to find those costumes, but we couldn't. She's gonna be Little Mermaid, and my wife and I are pretty pale Puerto Ricans, so we are gonna. They used to call she used to be Miss Puerto Rico, and they always called her the Puerto Rican Barbie. So of course she's gonna be Puerto Rican Barbie, and I'm gonna be Puerto Rican Knuff.
Dude, that is incredible.
You got to dye your hair though again.
Nah, man. I bleached it way too many times this year, and I'm starting to get like some like gaps that look like Comerica Park. So I'm not gonna bleach my hair anymore.
Someone that did that for a while, I understand. I feel your pain.
What do you mean gaps? What's that?
You start like your hair gets so like, I don't know.
It messes up.
It starts getting thin, and like you
Well,
start
no,
getting
I
a
got
power
plenty of
alley.
hair, but I don't know. It started like after you do it, you start getting like you get like bumps on your head, and you're just like, all right, this is my hair needs a break from this shit. So you had to go
TK.
back to the natural.
Kiké, last thing, we'll let you go. Can you make us a promise here on FT?
Depends.
No.
We'll make the
Yes or
offer.
no?
We'll take-
Baseball,
make the offer.
baseball.
Baseball. No. When you sign, come on here and tell everybody. Break it on FT.
Oh man, like LeBron, like the decision.
Yeah!
Not
I decided to take my talents to New York.
That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure, especially if it's got like a pending on a physical.
After the
Like you imagine,
physical,
I announce I sign with somebody, and then I go take a physical and I fail. Like what happens after that? Nobody's gonna want to sign me because I'm gonna ruin it.
All right, post physical then. Right, like as soon as you get out of the physical and they go like
As soon as
this.
you cough.
Half a promise, half a pinky.
Okay,
Fair.
that's fair. That's fair. We'll take that.
It's like
That's fine.
I'll
Remember,
take
you know, it's
pinky toe promise.
Pinky toe.
I mean, it's never happened where a guy signs and then takes a physical and fails. I mean, never's happened, especially to a Puerto Rican guy. It's never happened.
It's only happened to like 10 Orioles people in the last 10 years.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, right.
There's also a big one last year that had it happen to him twice from Puerto Rico. Some guy named Correa.
I forgot about that. Yep, but yeah, that's one of them.
Happened to him twice last
That's
year.
true. That's true. All right,
Mets and Giants.
we'll work on it for post physical. We'll
right,
work
perfect.
on it. The off
Or like Arson Judge when Arson Judge signed with the Giants.
That's right.
Kratz is going to report it. Well, Kiké, have fun, dude. Enjoy the process. We'll catch you again later this offseason. All right, dude?
All right, thanks guys. Thanks for having me.